Beautiful. All right, so I do that. All right. You can actually.
Now, I'm hearing somebody's television or radio or something in the back.
Yeah, that would be Tom's.
He can multitask, huh?
He can sometimes. There we go.
Is that better?
That's better.
I was
What were you
watching the Masters.
You're doing genealogy? You're a mess, Tom.
I know.
Okay.
Constantly.
Basic. Share screen. So I've been looking for a way to, well, first, can you all see my screen?
Yes, yes.
So I was looking for a way to try to get like the younger kids kind of interested in everything. And so I started playing around with some multimedia. And I found out that I can take an individual's major life events and plot them on Google Earth. And that's what I did. And then you can kind of run this little slideshow about it. So when you click present, it gives you a map of the location. Thank you for that, Cody. And then I was able to upload my own photos up here and put in my own verbiage about the location. So for this, you know, he was born on this day. This is where the family lived in Poland. These are photos of that area in Poland. And then I can scroll on to the next major event in his life. So we know that he was baptized in Lubava. I didn't have any of the actual documents, so I just threw up a picture of Lubava. And then for the next, this is when he left Germany. This is the ship that he left on from Hamburg. And I was able to find the Stuttgart on Ellis Island Records. And then he came into Ellis Island, New York. So I wrote that he came in. I put in a little blurb about Ellis Island and the sources for that. And then I included, you know, this little photo of Ellis Island, and then I included the ship's passenger manifest. And then if you click on this, it will actually enlarge. And here you can see him on line 6, Ernst May.
Wow.
That's just amazing work.
So then advance to the next one. So here I found evidence that he had purchased ship passage for his soon-to-be wife. So I actually found online an ad for the Rosenbaum Bank where he purchased it from. I put in a little blurb here about the Rosenbaum Bank that I'd found at from a Jewish Genealogical Society. A picture of her. Then the next item, they got married later that year. So I know that they were married in this church. So I found some pictures of the church. This is the actual register. And if you blow it up, where are they? They are right here, April 8th, May, Ernst, born, Labau, West Prussia. He was a miller, 22 years old. And Helena Gilda, born in Biazunia, it says Russia, but we know that it's Poland today, 19 years. And then there are witnesses, you know, one which was her brother, and the other person it was another relative of hers. But I have all this down here and where I got it from. And again, you know, just a little picture of the church. You have the front of the church and then the document. And you can add all of your own stuff to this, which makes it really awesome. And it might give the younger generation more interest because they'll be able to go in and see something that's a little bit more animated instead of just handing them a big booklet of all of the genealogy. I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of do this for like members of all the same family. I don't know. I'm still messing around with it, but I thought it was kind of cool and interesting, and
That's
it
awesome.
might be a good way to just kind of get people a little bit more interested. And if you, I'm sorry, Jamie, but if you are able to, if they have Google Drive and you give them permission, they can even go in and edit some of the things or add some things, which I think would be nice. You'd be able to do that with them and, co-collaborate. So that's kind of what I've been playing with. And we're doing these monthly Zoom reunions, if you will, where the whole family joins on to the reunion call, and we all just chit chat. But I thought that would be an easier way to just kind of get the younger ones involved a little
Absolutely.
bit. So that's what I've been playing around with.
That's great. That kind of looked like little, excuse me, like PowerPoint. Could you make it a PowerPoint presentation? Could they access that more easily?
I guess technically you could take screenshots and do that, sure. But it's all on the cloud. It's all on Google Earth. So, all they have to do is click advance. But I mean, I guess you could pull it into PowerPoint and automate it, where they just have to click one button.
So after you made it, Barbara, you saved it. You used Google Earth to make that, and then you saved it into a cloud area. Is that what you did?
It's on my Google Drive, and then I can share that link out to anybody that I want, and they can access it.
Cool.
You could go into business, Barbara, and do that.
Yeah.
For people would pay you to make a memento or memory of their relatives like that.
I thought it might be a cool, like if I'm able to actually start doing this professionally, that might be part of the package in the end, is to do this animation for them.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea. So
Did you start your classes yet?
I started, so the big class starts May 11th.
Okay.
But I've signed up for a couple of other classes that are that are online and starting now, move at your own pace. So I've been working on those. So I'm keeping busy. And of course now work's picking up, so I don't have as much free time, and I'm just kind of like, call me now, because I signed up for all these classes. But
hey, Barb,
it's okay.
That's fantastic.
That's
Good
really
luck with it,
great.
Barb.
And if you do go into business, I'll be your subcontractor and I'll do the U.S. military stuff for you.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you. I keep having these dreams about having our own building, and I don't know. I have all these great ideas. I just don't have the money to do it, So, speaking of money.
Go on Shark Tank.
Go on what?
Go on Shark Tank and ask them to subsidize
There you go. I wonder if they would do it.
I'll come with you.
So, poor Hope has been working a gazillion and 1 hours. She's the only one who has an ATM card to the bank account. I don't even have the entire bank account number. So I still have, Bob, your check sitting here. So, and Dee, I'm sorry about that, guys. I promise you, I'm going to go to the bank this week and just say to them, look, any account in this name, deposit these 2 checks.
Yeah, if you have a problem, let us know. Because sometimes after 3 months, there's a problem.
No, I will take care of it. So I just want to let you know the kind of issues I'm running into. Anyway, all right, so we're going to move on. So, Bev, you said you had a hard stop at the bottom of the hour, so why don't you go first?
Okay, great. So at a DAR meeting that was online last month, I won the door prize, which was an Ancestry DNA kit.
Wow.
So when I went out to my mom's for dinner for Easter, I took it out there. Now, she had done 23andMe with me back like 10 years ago. And, but now she could be on Ancestry. And so she spit in the tube on Tuesday after I took her to get her second shot, put it in the mail. It comes with it comes with a free log on, and I think, does anybody know, is it like 2 months of free access or something? But we didn't sign up for that because why would you do that until you get your results back, right?
Right.
Right.
I don't know anything about that.
So, so I mean, my mom's not, she's 84. She's not really that computer savvy, but I'll have her DNA test on there. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, you should get in writing or do a form and have her sign it so you can control her DNA kit for her.
Well,
Like
don't,
Like a
doesn't
power
she,
attorney.
why would I need her to write a form? Wouldn't she just put me on as manager on Ancestry.com?
Probably.
Well, yeah, I guess. But if anything should happen, you know, I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
Retract
you-
it.
did you use 2 email addresses? Because I did my cousin and I bought the DNA kit and sent it to him. But I set it up on a separate email
no, it's
address.
her email.
Oh, do you have access to her email?
No, but I know what her email address is. And she wrote down her Ancestry password for me.
Okay,
Okay.
well then you
Alright.
have access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
God forbid anything happens to her, you need to have access to her email account for any emails that may come in. Then you load the kit up to Ancestry with your account and tie it to her. And you
okay, wait a
can
minute.
both of your kits
So,
GEDmatch.
it's already been, like, the kit's been registered on her email and she wrote down the password. What else would I have to do?
The password for
Ancestry.
but not for her email account. See, I'm just saying, because of her age, I lost my mom at that age. If anything should happen to her, any emails that come in to her from this.
Well,
You
I
can
gave her a tablet for Christmas that has her email on it.
Mhm.
And it's not password protected.
Good, then you
So
have
all
access.
you have to do is open the tablet and all the emails are there.
Okay, good. So you have access. You can upload her kit to Ancestry, and you can upload both of your kits to GEDmatch, where you'll get a lot more matches.
Well, I already did her and my 23andMe to GEDmatch like 10 years ago.
Okay,
So I think I'm covered.
you are.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm doing the MAGS Spring Conference. MAGS is Mid-Atlantic Germanic Society, if anybody else is in that. Roger Minot is our speaker, so he did 2 lectures before lunch. They're in a lunch break now. He's going to do 2 lectures after lunch. So his first lecture this morning was about status in German society. And before Napoleon, so that's early 1800s, German society was very rigid. You were born into a class and you did not change class. You only married someone of the same class. So if you were lower nobility, that's what you were. If you were a craftsman, your son or your daughter would marry the son or daughter of another craftsperson. If you were a farmer who owned land, then your offspring would also marry people of that level. You would never, ever find someone who was the son or daughter, the son of a farmer who like rented the land, jumping class and marrying the daughter of a lawyer, because the marriages had to be approved in the town. So he said that's very helpful if you're doing genealogy, because if your ancestor was the son of a miller, he's not going to marry a princess. It's just not allowed. So save yourself the time of looking through the nobility records, because ain't gonna be there. And if your marriage wasn't approved, then you couldn't get married. So all your kids were illegitimate. And if your children were illegitimate, they couldn't inherit anything. And more importantly for the boys, they could not become members of guilds. So it was, but after Napoleon like threw that all away because he was born poor and became an emperor. And he said, you should be able to be whatever you want to be, depending on if you work hard and you're intelligent and apply yourself and that kind of stuff. But it was also one of the reasons why a lot of the Germans came to North America, because once you got off that boat, you could be anything you wanted to be. You weren't locked into what you were born as.
Wow.
So it was very interesting.
Hey, Bev?
Yep.
I'm interested. Obviously, you guys know I don't do a lot of genealogy, but I am thinking about starting, and that seems like a really interesting organization. Can anybody sign into these lectures you're talking about, or do you have to be a member first?
Well, you get $10 off if you're a member. I mean, it's not that expensive to join. So I think it was $35 for me as a member, and it was $45 if you weren't a member.
When you get a chance, could you just send me the information on membership, please?
Sure. I mean, it's
Great.
just MAGS, M-A-G-S, Mid-Atlantic Germanic Society.
And they'll have anybody, even if I'm not an upper class guy, huh?
Yeah, but with a name like yours, they'll let you in.
Oh, goodness. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And the other lecture was about German census records. And he said that it's an old wives' tale that there's no German census records. The problem is they're not listed as census records. They're listed as family lists, household lists, all these different kind of lists, and they're not nationalized. They're not digitized. They're just kept in the local town repository. So you have to physically go there and get them. So anyway, so I'm gonna pop off now and get something to eat and go back to the other lectures, and I will see you next month.
Thank you, Bev.
That was very informative. Thank you.
Good. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Mr. Purdom, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, I guess. Got my second inoculation Wednesday, so just waiting around for all this stuff to go away. I have in my library a book, and I'm going to put it on the screen here so you can see it.
Okay. So
This is it's quite a large book. It's over 700 pages, and it lists the settlers of Maryland from 1679 to 1783, and it was written by or compiled by Peter Wilson Coldham. Now he's got a couple of other books having to do with land in Maryland in particular. So I'm going to guess, and I haven't really looked this up yet, but I'm going to guess that there are other books listing land grants and property purchases in other states. Now let me tell you how it's listed. Each page has a listing. It's all done alphabetically. They list the name of the purchaser or the grantee, the county in the state, the name of the tract, the acreage, and the date of the purchase. And then it lists the references. So if you go into the archives, in Maryland archives, and you wanted to look up these plots of land, you have a list to look them up with. So I looked this up, and I found there's three family names that I'm looking at. One, of course, is the Purdom family. One is the Stanford family, which is my mother's side, and the Berry family, which is my great-grandmother's side. And all three of them had property in Maryland. The Berry clan had literally hundreds of acres of land. And the earliest date that I have found on here is 1695. The Stanfords had an equal number of plots, but there were only 2, 4, 5 different names listed here. And they had somewhere near 1,000 acres between the 5 of them.
Wow.
And then the Purdom family had somewhere around, it looks like about 800 acres. And there were a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, there were only 4 family members there. And the earliest one on that was 1731. So they were there very early. Now, what this tells me is, number one, they were all landowners. And number two, the dates that they purchased these pieces of property. Probably every state has something like this book available. I guess you would have to just look up on the internet. You would probably have to look up something like land record books and see if this was, I picked this up at Barnes and Noble, through Barnes and Noble. And it tells me a lot about the family and where they lived back in the early 1700s. And when I connect that with the history, the written history from this, like the Stanford written history, and that was written by a historian by the name of Ernest Eliot. We know that the Stanfords came from England, but they settled in Maryland and in Virginia, and they settled there very early in the late 1600s. So these records only go back to 1679, and I think the Stanfords actually were there about 1660. So they could have owned property there. It's just not listed in this particular book. So something to look at if you're trying to find out where some of your ancestors lived. These ancestors here go back 9 generations. So it'll tell you a little bit more about the families, even though the records are kind of sparse. One other thing that I found was a marriage record for my great-grandfather. Not his first record, but his second record. He was married twice. And I thought for a long time that he was married about 1900. He was living in Little Rock, Arkansas at the time. His first wife and his 2 older children had died in a malaria epidemic. And so he was left with 2 young children, and I guess he found somebody by the name of Louise. Her last name was Hotzel, and she was French. And I found the marriage certificate, the bond. You had to post a bond to get married in Arkansas, and the list of the witnesses. And lo and behold, I found, number 1, Jeremiah's middle initial, which I had never known, and it was the letter M. Don't know what it stands for, but I've been looking back in the family history to see if there was anybody with that name. And it just so happens that one of his nephews was given the name of McClellan. So, and he died very early, just as a young child. So I'm thinking maybe that might have been what the M stands for. Don't know yet. But the other thing I found was the witness and the actual owner of the bond, the person who wrote down the name of the people who were going to be married, was apparently his second wife's brother. So now I have another name to track and find out where they came from and how they got to Arkansas in 1900. So it's kind of interesting. That kind of information is kind of interesting because you start throwing things together. You keep looking and you go back and you look again. That's how I found out what happened to my father's mother's brother. His name was Herbert Joseph Hendrickson. We never knew what happened to him. I traced him through census records, found him in Seattle, I found him in Portland, and I found him in Kern County, California. He was a lineman, and he apparently worked for Pacific Gas and Electric in the 1930s. Now, I don't know whether that was the company name back then or not, but then I lost track of him. And there was a rumor going around that he had been killed in a flood in Kern County in the 1930s. And I had no other information on him. But I just kept going back and searching, and lo and behold, I find land records for him, tax records and land records in Los Angeles County. And I'm thinking, wow, he was still alive? And I kept looking, and lo and behold, I found a death certificate for him. Now, he was born in 1876, I think, 78, right around that time. And he died in Guadalajara, Mexico, and left a wife down there. So it's indicated, of course, it's all in Spanish, so I had to go in and research where exactly he had been. And apparently he lived in the town of Guadalajara, and he is buried in the municipal cemetery in Guadalajara. And I also have his name, the name of his widow, and she was apparently Mexican. So you start looking around, keep digging, and you can find a lot of information.
Do you have Google Translate on your computer? So
I do. Yes, I do have it. I do have it.
Good.
So
Good.
He apparently died of quote unquote old age. So, but now we know what happened to him.
He was a busy guy.
He was he worked from the age of 17 when his mother died. He left the house and went to Wisconsin. He went to Denver. He went to Seattle, Portland, Kern County, California, and finally Los Angeles. I don't know when he left Los Angeles for Guadalajara, but he was probably already retired. So interesting life he must have had.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Anything
cool.
else you want to share? Jerry, anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Cynthia, why don't you tell us what you've been up to?
Absolutely nothing. I did get my
Absolutely
second
nothing?
shot. Got my second shot last week,
Good.
as well as my
That's great.
husband. I actually got it for my son, who I wanted to get it desperately because, he has kidney failure. And so we're all doing fine. So I have been working on some genealogy, but I'm going to wait till the next meeting to talk to you about it because I think I've made an important connection on my father's side of the family, of the white Sealies and the black Sealies. So
Terrific.
I'll have put something together that'll be kind of interesting. Hopefully I'll have time. I'm working on taxes now, so.
We look forward to it.
Don't remember, taxes are due May 17th.
Mine are already done and paid.
Okay, thanks. You can
Thanks,
give my time
Cynthia.
to someone else.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sherry.
Did you call on me, Sherry?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, hello. I noticed among Jerry has a lot of perseverance, right? He doesn't give up. Well,
Yes.
I do too, but in other areas of my life, here's my excuse this time. And I hope you accept. I hope it's a good excuse. I didn't even come to our meeting last month because I was doing something else that was very important in my life. I reconnected with my high school boyfriend.
Wow. Well, look at you, girlfriend. Woo woo.
Got a date now or what?
Oh, yeah, I fell in love with him when he walked into my high school. He was 13 years old, and I took a look at him. I said, that's for me. And I have had that. I've always wanted to be with him. Sorry, I guess I'm the romantic in the club.
That's
I always
okay.
wanted to be with him. I never forgot about him. I always had that hope that someday, and we dated a little in high school, we dated a little in college, and then our lives took different paths. And I would hear from him every 20 or 30 years or so. He'd give me a call, how you doing, what's up? But I guess we were never single at the same time. I don't know what it was, but last summer he called me. And he's although he's from Manhattan, he's in Connecticut now, surrounded by some loving family. And okay, so he called me and we got over, since last summer, we've been talking almost every night. We got reacquainted over the phone and we made plans to get together after we had both had our 2 shots and wait another 4 weeks and then wait another 2 weeks just to be sure. And I'm afraid to tell you how many years I've been waiting for him. 70 years I've been waiting. So talk about perseverance and never ever giving up. So in March, I went to visit him in Connecticut and we had a lovely visit and we bonded right away. And in April, he came to visit me for a few days and everything was lovely.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah. So it's floating and here are the rules I set down. These are the standards. I am not getting married. I am not asking him to move in with me. We're just going to be boyfriend and girlfriend like we were hundreds of years ago. And we'll see each other whenever we can.
Oh, that's great.
I intend to squeeze every bit of joy out of every single day that I can because we never know how much time we have left.
Well, good for you, Sherry. Good luck with that.
That's why I did do my homework.
You go, girlfriend.
Thank you.
I'll give you a pass on this one.
Okay. I do have a question though. I'm way behind you guys in knowledge and experience in genealogy, but I got a message from Genealogists recently inviting me to download my DNA. I've done 3 different kits and I printed out the instructions. I haven't tried it yet, but I also noticed you mentioned GEDmatch a lot too. So I'd like to know what's the difference between GEDmatch and Genealogists, and do you have any tips or hints on what I should download to what?
What's Genealogists? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. It's
Genealogists
a single site, but
is a
GEDmatch
website
will
for
allow you to
treating.
have comparisons to people who've tested anywhere, regardless of what site that they tested on. If they put it on GEDmatch, you're going to have a much larger database to draw from.
okay. Then I guess
So-
I'll try downloading it to GEDmatch, right?
You can upload it to either.
Or
Or
upload
both.
it. Okay.
Or both.
And I've done all 3 kits. I did 23andMe and Ancestry and MyHeritage. So should I upload my DNA from all those 3 to GEDmatch?
No,
You don't
just
need to do
you
all
just
of them.
need
Your
one.
DNA will be the same.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Any hints or tips on what to do or what not to do when I'm uploading it to GEDmatch? Because I've never
It's
tried
pretty
it before.
straightforward.
Okay, thank you.
It's not it's straightforward. You find the zip file on your hard drive, click upload, and it will take care of it. And I believe it's like 24 hours later. If it's not instant, I believe it's only like 24 hours later. It'll be
It's within a
start
couple
showing
days, but frequently it is 24 hours.
Well, I
Maybe-
can wait 24 hours. I waited 70 years for this guy.
But I mean,
Thank
it doesn't hurt to upload it wherever, because you're just expanding your pool of potential matches.
Okay.
So
Well, then what you said, it doesn't matter which of the three kits that I upload. Any
no, your
recommendations?
DNA stays the same. Their algorithms are what gives you the differences, in your results.
Mhm. Well, I guess first I have to download my DNA data from one of the kits, and then upload it to GEDmatch.
It will download into it'll download a zip file. Do not open the zip file. Just save the zip file to someplace where you're going to find it, like on your desktop, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And then go to the other site. And when you're ready to do it, hit, follow the instructions to upload, and that'll be it. It'll be done.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I have. Happy holiday, everybody, and be well. I got both my shots back in January and February, so I feel so liberated. Wonderful.
Good for you. Good, Sherry.
Just stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom.
Oh, me.
You.
Really haven't done a whole bunch. I did find this document. It's very interesting. I was showing this to Barbara. It's a list of marriages from Easton, Pennsylvania. My mother told me that her mother and father were never married. And that's true. They were never married. But my grandmother married somebody before she was hooked up with my grandfather. Now catch this. They were married on January 1st. Now what's that tell you? It was after a New Year's Eve party, maybe?
Yeah. That's right.
2 years later, she was back living in her house with her parents. She married this guy named Leo William Smith.
Yeah, right.
Now, there's no record of any divorce from these two. And he married again in Easton. She, I don't know what you call it, with my grandfather. And they never married. But they had 3 children, which were basically all illegitimate. But I found a document where my grandmother actually was married to this other guy. Who knew? That's all I have.
You must have aunts and uncles and cousins all over the place.
Sherry, my aunts and uncles on my father's side, there's 3 girls and a boy, and they're all illegitimate also. Not one of my aunts or uncles is a legitimate child. None. Absolutely none. And there's 7 of them.
Is it difficult to trace any of those family members? Any more difficult than if they were all married?
No. No, because they show up in censuses, they show up all over the place. But what it doesn't tell you is when they were married or if they were married. Now, on the census, my grandmother was listed as wife, but she was never married. So she, they just assume. My grandfather was married in Germany, had 2 children, came to America, went back, and he supposedly got a divorce from the woman that he's married to. Brings my grandmother to America, and they got married in 1936. Now, guess what? My father drove him to get married. And you know why they got married at all? It's because they had to sign up for Social Security.
Yeah.
That's why she always told him to skip that when he asked her.
Yeah,
about
I
it.
asked my mother. I'm filling out. I used to use that program, Brothers Keeper, and I'm filling in, the date your parents were married. I said, Mom, what is the date your parents were married? She just skipped that. So I said, come on, Mom, I got these empty blanks here. Tell me. And with her arthritic finger, she said, I said, skip that. Now, when Mom told you to
Yeah,
skip
you
it
know
twice,
why.
you skipped it.
She told you, didn't she?
Yeah, with that old broken finger, yeah. Yeah, skip that.
Anything
I tell you,
else?
the old folks from the other countries, they didn't talk about family other family backwards.
Yeah.
Yes, very little they would ever talk about.
And I think that that's why there was a lot of marriages for women after their first husband died. And I believe they remarried not only because they had children, but also because of the Social Security benefits. I think, anyway.
Well, Barbara and I interviewed my father, and he was in his 90s, sitting in this chair right over here. And Barbara asked him, does your father have any brothers or sisters? And he said, yeah, he has a brother. Well, I found the German family record. There was 9 of them.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, that's different from one.
Different than one, yes. So I said, Dad. Well, of course, he had passed by the time I found all this. But they didn't know. He didn't know why he had all these people.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Hey, Maria, you're talking about people getting married or not married for financial purposes.
Mm-hmm.
We had a friend, Edna. Edna passed away in 2004. She was 99, and she outlived 5 husbands and a boyfriend.
Wow.
And the reason she didn't marry the boyfriend was because her 5th husband had a military pension, which she was getting, and if she would have gotten married, she would have lost the pension.
Wow.
That's right.
I love Edna. She's great. She used to drive every Saturday. She would drive from Maple Shade to Atlantic City, and she would gamble Charlie's check. And Charlie's check was gone. She stopped gambling for the month. It was awesome.
Well, she knew to have the check every month.
That's right. So every month she was a big spender until she lost it.
That was her recreation. That was her present from Charlie.
She stopped driving at 97, but at 97 she was driving from Maple Shade to Atlantic City every Saturday. So it's a good thing not to be on the road then.
Well, my father died when he was 99 years old.
Wow, God bless him.
And the hardest thing I ever had to do was pull the keys from him from driving.
Yeah.
So I said, Dad, I don't want you driving it anymore. Said, okay. So I took his keys. I'm driving down the road and I see his car in the grocery store. So I go over to the house and I said, Dad, what were you doing over there? I said, I have a couple things. I said, I got your keys. He said, you didn't get them all. What I did, I went out in the garage and I crippled his car, pulled the coil wire off. So you know what happens? He calls me up. He said, my car won't start. But in old German, he was just not going to be told what he was going to do.
That's funny.
But he didn't argue with you about it either.
He was a funny man. He would talk to Barbara, but he wouldn't talk to me.
That's just because I wore something low cut.
Hey, I just as soon talk to Barbara as you anyhow, so
Bob, that's the story of my life.
We love you.
I have, Barb.
Thank you. Bob, have you done anything this month?
Absolutely not. I think I did. I think I heard from somebody about. I got some picture of a family member from way back when, but it's in my email somewhere. But no, I've been. I don't know what I've been doing, but I seem to have been busy. Oh, hey Cynthia, while I got you on the phone,
Yeah.
Just Annie accepted. Was accepted at 3 colleges, and she's going to go to a place called Warren Wilson in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And they're still
Nice.
going to have they're still going to have a graduation at George School. They're going to have a prom and everything else. It's just going to be kind of socially distanced, but they're going to do everything they need to do.
Oh, that's great.
You still stay in touch with any of the folks over there?
Oh, yeah, I see people from time to time. Yeah, I run into them here, there. Yeah,
They're doing
some of
an
them
awesome job.
on Facebook. Yeah, a lot of the people, in my age group have retired.
It's a good thing. Retiring.
So, yeah, but that's good. That's good. And the school is in North Carolina. What part of North Carolina?
It's right near Asheville. It's actually
Okay.
like a mile from Asheville. It's only like 900 kids, but
Wow.
it's got a working farm on there. And part of the kids' tuition is they have to work at the farm, which is right up her alley. She's happy about that. So
Wow.
What's she going to major? Is she going to major in agriculture or some form
no,
of
she's going to major in art and biology.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right now, we'll see what happens. But she's a pretty good artist, and I mean, a father never says the word artist without putting the word starving in front of it. But one thing I learned in life is that you got to do what you love, otherwise you're miserable.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Well, that's great. And they're going to actually have graduations outside. So,
Yeah. So, and a lot of the kids, are overseas kids, so they're not going to be there anyhow.
Yeah.
Kids from China and everything, they ain't coming. They're not there now. So,
right. Wow.
anyhow, cool. So, anyhow, I just thought
Yeah,
I'd let you know.
great. Thanks. Yeah.
That's all I got, guys.
Thank you. Linda, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm kind of scattered. I've been doing a little of this, a little of that, pulled in too many different directions, primarily with Family Tree Maker becoming corrupt and having to be fixed again.
Oh my gosh. You
Yeah.
do not have any luck with that software, do you?
I've been using it since version 1. It's very hard for me to be happy with any of the other programs, but since they sold it, it's been,
You
Oh.
mean census and with McAfee, you mean?
yes.
McAfee?
No,
I
not
haven't had
Mac Kiev.
Kiev, whatever the name. Yeah. What kind
I
of problems are
think
you having?
Ancestry broke it first. Then Mac Kiev just continued doing that.
Well, what kind of problems are you having?
Things become detached. Like I have
Oh.
a picture and it will not show as the thumbnail. It'll save it in the media, but it won't show it. And sometimes you'll go to open up a census and you see the little icon of the census, you go to click on it and it won't open. Or worse yet, you go to click on the source and it shuts completely.
Wow.
And Linda has a Mac, not.
You have a Mac. Yeah, see, I have a PC, so.
Yeah. But despite all of that, and despite all the time I've invested in trying to fix everything, I've put in a few hundred additional people lately. And I'd have to say that it's primarily due to having found or having them find me some distant cousins a few years ago. Because those particular cousins who were attracted to my cousin bait, I found a man that I thought was my grandfather's brother and determined through research he wasn't. He had to be a cousin. Well, he was in their tree, more closely related to them. So they found and called me. One of them is a DNA researcher in business, in real life, and now has his own company with it in addition to working through university. A couple of others are professors. They are so into DNA that they're dragging me into understanding more and more.
Good.
And we've been playing with DNA Painter and a tool that they call WATO, W-A-T-O, that shows you how things may fit in. And now we're going in even more depth into other directions. And a couple of us just made plans to do another separate Zoom without Marty, the real guru, just to make sure we understand what he's trying to show us how to do. It's been unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm learning bits and pieces at a time.
So what do you think of the WATO tool? Do you like it?
I've played with it a couple of times. I can't say that I'm really literate with it yet. I mean, I've just barely gotten maybe a couple dozen people into DNA Painter so far. but I've got people coming out of the woodwork. And because my first husband and I were apparently fifth plus cousins, I am very interested in anything that touches a base there.
Right.
And I've been talking to one guy on my heritage back and forth a little bit, peripherally interested in one person. So today I put that information into my tree and found 2 more links where that may bridge the gap.
Oh.
So I keep hoping and finding possibilities, but I haven't put it together yet. DNA might do it.
Mhm.
So that's going to make the tree really explode.
Sure will. Anything else you'd like to share?
Well, that's pretty much it. Although I did get my 2 shots.
Great.
You. I get my second one on Tuesday, so say a prayer for me.
Make sure you rest afterwards,
Yes, ma'am.
you know.
I guess they've opened shots up to everybody because my wife, she got her second shot on Friday, but my daughter who she's 18, she's got an appointment for her first shot, she's going to get the 1 shot on the 24th of April.
Mm-hmm.
In New Jersey, within the next couple of weeks, they're going to open up shots to people 16 years and over.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is April 19th.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Okay. Maria?
Where do you want me to start?
Wherever you want.
I'm so disgusted. I don't know what to do. I was doing really good, making headway with my tree, so I thought. And then I found, okay, so the naming patterns, how everybody is named. The men are all the same names until
Right.
you go way back, and then it's just a normal name. Then you got the women, all the same first name, but the last name fluctuates, multiple marriages. Well, I have found a critical mistake. Obviously, I made it in the tree, and I am beside myself. I got 5 hours of sleep the night before. I don't want to dump my tree and start all over. I don't know what to do. I got
Which software?
papers. I got census forms.
Which software you using, Maria?
Well, thank God I haven't opened my Roots Magic or the Family Tree Maker in about 2 weeks, thank God, because that would have been messed up. But like the names, it's just, I'm throwing shit in the shoebox, like on Ancestry,
Mm-hmm.
in the event that if it's way too complicated, that I may have to dump my tree. I don't know what to do.
Where is the data saved besides on paper?
Oh, it's on my tree. It's in the tree. It's
On
because the
Ancestry?
naming pattern, John Joseph Alford, John Joseph Alford, and then Marianne, and Marianne, and then so I tried to break my tree down, and like I'm ignoring the rest of my tree. I'm just trying to work with that one line. I'm trying to find out where I made the mistake. But
well, we've all made mistakes. We've all gone out on a branch that's not the right one. So speaking from experience, if you know for sure that that's not the right family, start at the bottom with the youngest children and work your way up as you delete.
Right.
And work from a copy. Make an additional copy of the tree so that if you find you've gone too far and you need to recover something, you'll have it.
Right. Now, can I make a floating tree? I know I can, but do I have to start a new one for it to be floating? Because I'm going to have to, well, because I'm going to have to, the line that I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I
trying
don't know
to,
what a floating tree is. What's a floating
Okay.
tree?
Yeah, I don't know what a floating tree is either.
it's,
Do you
I don't
mean
know,
where
maybe-
somebody's not attached directly?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have bits and pieces of that in my tree too, where I know somebody's related and I haven't figured out the connection yet. So I may have a little mini branch with that family not connected to the main tree
Mhm.
until I find a connection. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean. Yeah, because I gotta, like I said, I have to. I've got pages. I've been writing everything down. I started with the census forms. I'm trying to work off of that, and then, like I'm filling out the census forms because there's just I don't know what to do with myself. I can't sleep, but yet I can't stay on a computer 15 hours a day.
Gotcha. Well,
Get a boyfriend.
Maria, don't let it upset your sleep. It's not worth it.
Ugh.
Start with making a backup copy.
And it's still going to be there tomorrow.
Oh,
You know?
I know, but it's it's driving me crazy because I'm trying to figure out where I made it, and I
Right.
haven't found that spot yet, and it's
Maria, I think sometimes our ancestors tried to hide themselves from us. They did everything. Well, first of all, they didn't know anybody 100 years from them was going to be looking for them, so they didn't do anything to
Yeah.
document themselves.
And they're
right. They didn't have
protection.
a paper trail like we do today.
Exactly. They had no reason to make a paper trail because nobody was doing this stuff back then.
Right. Right.
And they're
Maria,
in
Don't you feel bad because, one of these days these people will emerge on you and you'll be thankful.
Mm.
Maria, maybe what you could do is take one section of the tree that you know is correct and start a new tree and put that over there, and then work on another section. If that's correct, then merge it with that. You see what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
keep
I do.
over.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can make it private.
Is this on Ancestry?
Only work on the portion of your tree that's corrupt.
Pardon?
This is on Ancestry, right?
Yeah.
Maria, only work on the part of your tree that's corrupt.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, but then, you get cross-eyed looking at the same names, and it's like,
yeah. Well, then maybe
it's the dates
what
that are
you can
screwed
do.
up.
Maybe what
Is
you
your
can do.
tree in English?
Yeah.
I mean, is your family in English?
Yeah, but
Try
they're from
doing it if you're
Ireland,
trying to read German documents.
Scotland, and
So
then
when you
America.
have multiple people with the same name, John
Yeah.
Joseph Smith, when you have a document that matches the one, why don't you label him as John Joseph Smith 1,
Right.
and then the next one label him as number 2, and
Right.
then
That's a good idea.
try to keep them
And
separate.
then number 3, yeah.
And then if you have a document where you're not quite sure where it fits in, you can save that in the shoebox for further analysis later on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that might help you keep them separate.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because the Germans always
I really
named a whole
screwed it
bunch
up.
of people with the same name.
I found it
Yeah.
particularly when like a child would die and then they would name the next child with the same name, and I got so confused on that. So I did the same thing. I started naming them 1 and 2 by that name. That
Yeah.
helped.
Yeah, and that's the other issue too, is because they pass that down, and it's like, Jesus Christ. I'm just like,
Well, then you've got another issue, because
yeah.
if you have John Joseph Smith Sr. and he has a junior, and then there's a third, when senior dies, junior becomes senior, and the third becomes junior.
Yeah.
So something else to just keep an eye on.
Yeah. All right. No,
Anything else?
I think that's plenty. Thank you.
Aw. We
Take a
love
deep
you.
breath.
Don't worry. You're going to be fine. You're going to get it through it.
Mm,
I see
I hope
that
so.
Mr. Mr. Spencer has an aspiring acrobat in his background.
Right.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, that is my granddaughter, Brooke, who loves having her face on Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
As much as my cat loves it, right?
Yeah, so I have been trying to work on my tree. I need some time here, Brooke. You just watch. So I am able to work on my tree just through Ancestry, but I periodically get nice emails that say you have a DNA match. And I go explore the DNA match, and 99% of the time, the person either has no tree,
Yeah.
they have a private tree. So all I see is the common names that are highlighted in green. And I sometimes look at those and I say, oh, I know that Campbell. I know who the grandmother is or something, but I don't know what to do with it from that side.
Shared matches. Shared matches.
Shared
Shared
matches, yeah.
Yeah, so in some cases, I have written to the people and said, can I have permission to get into your tree? Or I say, you have permission to get into my tree. But it's been somewhat disappointing because I'm starting to get close people, like first and second cousins. And I kind of recognize the name and I'm saying, I think I know where they people come from, but I don't have any access to it. I sometimes get things that are hints, and the hints are much more productive because I can fit them into somebody on my tree. But I thought that the DNA would really open up a lot of, because my family, the Spencer name goes back, I can go back about 4 generations, and 2 brothers came over from England and 2 brothers stayed in England. And I have a cousin that is from the line that stayed in England. And she's given me a whole lot of information about the people before they came over. But I can't go back any further. It's draw a total blank. And I've been trying for 5 years to take the name back another generation or 2. And for some reason, you know, I can, there must be records out there because here in America, one of my grandmother's relatives married a woman by the name of Theodosia Brown. And I can take her back about 9 generations. I can take her back to the 1200s.
Oh.
You know, and I mean, not much other than, you know, where they were and their name and when they died and what castle they lived in. And sometimes I find out that they were, you know, one guy was hanged because he was a threat to the king. And another one was made a big officer because the king really liked him, you know. But so that generation I can take way back, but I can't get back. You can't get back any further in my one. And I was hoping that DNA would help clear some of that up. But so far, I haven't been able to get into most of the trees of the people that they highlight for me. So that's basically all I've been doing, other than being upset that I've missed the last 2 meetings. Because well, this one I was late because Squirt back there was playing baseball. And the last month I took a nap and slept right through the time. So that,
Well, you know, Spencer in the name in England, Diane Spencer was the princess,
Yeah,
Princess Diana. But the Spencer name goes to royalty in England.
well, you know, Tom, everybody wants to link themselves back to Diana. And they're apparently, before the brothers that I talked about that came over, there were 4 Spencer brothers that came over at a different time that the documentation from them back is real good. So there's this gap between where mine drops dead and where theirs picks up. And if I could link them, then I could say, okay, I now can go from the other one backward. But everybody wants to do that. And so far, most of us have had a lot of trouble because, you know, you get
Well,
hints.
I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to genealogy.
Yeah, I know. It's been, my son, who was sitting out in the yard with some friends, is 34. And when he was a Boy Scout, he decided he wanted to do genealogy merit badge. So back in the day, I went to one of these little computer stores and I bought an $18 software program that worked on my little PC something or other. And he got his badge and stopped. And the gene crawled in me and hooked me up, and I've been infected ever since. And
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
That's all the kids' fault, right?
So I've been, and my biggest fans were my parents because they really loved it. And now both my parents are gone, so I'm just doing it for the fun of it for myself. But
Good. But someday you get to hand it down to your grandson.
oh yeah, so and my wife's side is done a lot. She goes all the way back to the Salem witch trials. So
Cool.
yeah, she's if you ever saw the PBS movie Three Sovereigns for Sister Sarah, that Sister Sarah is a
Yeah, I
relative
think
of my
so.
wife. So, but I find that I'm related to a very, very, very famous outlaw back in the early West who was a real bad dude. I mean,
Nice.
so I'm not real happy that I'm related to him, but I can prove that I'm related to him. But I mean, he was a really, really ugly. I mean, he killed a few people. He was hung, and somebody shot the rope and freed him. He was hung a second time, and he had paid the sheriff to doctor the rope so that he dropped through the gallows onto a horse and escaped again.
Wow.
So the third time, they think they actually killed him, but he was. But
I want your family.
he was. It was a. He was really a very. If you look at the record books of famous outlaws in the United States, he was up there with Billy the Kid and some of those other ones, but he preceded them. So he wasn't, and I really need to, for next month, find the name so I could tell you, but that was a real interesting read when I found him out.
Well,
Well, that's
stay
what
tuned. I want that name, so I'll stay tuned.
Okay. Yeah, if I knew how to look at my my database while I was on here, I would see if I could find it for you. Maybe I'll just minimize you so I can just listen. But I'm going to go on mute because with the
You went on mute.
Okay. Thank you, Howard. Okay. Looks like Bill stepped away, so we're going to go to D.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. I didn't do too much, but I want to say thank you to Linda for reminding us to upload our data to GEDmatch, because I've noticed with my DNA Ancestry that nothing's been added really. I have one first cousin, maybe 2 second cousins, 1 or 2 third cousins, and the rest of the hundreds and hundreds are all fourth beyond. So I'm not really getting any interesting people. But I did do a little bit of work on one of my great-great-grandfathers, great-grandfather times 2. And he was a mariner in the Merchant Marines. And I found a site that has what's called the Welsh Mariner Index. And I can put it on the chat if anybody looks at Welsh individuals. But I was able to find out all the ships that he was on for most of his life. And he was born in 1808, and he was on a ship as a so-called boy when he was 10 years old in 1818. And it lists all the ships up until about the early 60s, I guess, when he stopped. And it also confirms, I knew this is one of my great-grandfathers that I had reported on earlier, who had received 2 silver awards, apparently from Queen Victoria. And this validates or verifies on this form also that he did receive the silver award. But they don't say Queen Victoria, they say R period, N period, L period, I. So I'm going to try and look that up and find out what that means. But it talks about how he helped to rescue some mariners from a ship that was going down off of Wales and whatever. And it's great because I found out that he had a brother also who was a mariner, so I was able to find information on him and what ship he was on mainly. I found out that his brother's son also was a mariner, and I was able to get a little information. So this index, it not only has the ships that you might be on in your role. My great-grandfather was everything from a boy to a mate to a pilot to a master. And it'll put their year of date, and sometimes it'll indicate who they were married to. And it also, in this one piece, told me who his brother was, so that it helped me connect to that. So I've been working on that, and my next step is to try and find out what those letters mean. And also, I know his mother, but the father is listed as someone that I can't connect. So I'm going to try to work on that. I find that the harder it is, the more I like working on it, because I'm like a real detective, and I find it's like a real challenge. So that's going to be what I'm going to work on for the next time. And that's all I have to report on.
Cool.
Okay, thanks, Dee.
When you talk about, Dave, when you talk about those letters, if you said the medals were from Queen Victoria, if they represent Latin words, the R would be Rex for king or Regina for queen. That's just a hint. I don't know if
that's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. So I'll just see what I can find on it. But
and what country was he representing? Or
Wales. It would be under UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Royal Mariner.
So I thought I saw Bill came back, but now he looks like he's gone. Sorry, Bill. Okay, Jamie.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hey, Jamie.
I haven't really done much. I told Barbara last month I was dealing with a sick cat. I've been nursing him for the whole month. He was really doing good. But last night I'm on 2.5 hours of sleep because I don't know if he's going through his whole issue again or not. But it was basically staying awake, making sure he wasn't having accidents all over the place. Other than that, no, I haven't really done anything. I'm kind of sick of the living family. So I'm sick of dealing with them.
Yeah, the dead don't talk back at us.
Right.
And I was just been really not being able to focus on anything lately. So I think if I start getting back into it, I'm going to jump to my husband's side, because I just, like I said, I'm kind of sick of the living side, my living side and the dead side. So I'm just, but other than that, I have my daughter is graduating in June. I heard Bob say that you had somebody graduating from George School.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my daughter's got a friend who's graduating from there also this year.
Oh, good.
Her name is Suzanne Kowalski, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name.
Oh, that's my daughter.
Kowalski, whatever. I don't know how. I know there's the difference when the female in the Polish names, how the females say it against the male. One's ska and the other ski. I'm not sure. But it's Kowalski or Kowalska, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, her graduation will be June 17th. They're holding it at the high school in the field. And
I think Ann's graduation is the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, that's early. That is early.
So if you go on the 17th, you're going to be late.
Yeah. Well, no. Bella's is at Ben Salem, so hers is June 17th.
Okay.
So that's when they're graduating. My son graduated there a couple years ago, and that was on June 14th. So they're close. But I'm surprised to hear George. Yeah, nothing much. Nothing else. I do have a question. Does anybody have newspapers.com subscription?
No,
I don't.
No.
Sorry.
I know. I was trying to find.
Yeah,
I had run. Excuse me.
Do the free 6-7 day subscription.
Oh, I was wondering if I should do that. I had run across one of my husband's family's obituary, or not obituaries, death certificate. And it said that he had died in the Schuylkill River and that he was a truck driver. And I was wondering, it keeps popping up that I got to remember to go look and see why he was in the Schuylkill River. Like it wasn't an accident or something.
Email me his name. Email me his name and the date, and I'll look it up.
Okay. I think it's the last name's Pullman. I can't remember what the first name is, but I'll look that up and thank you.
Okay, no
I'll
problem.
send it along. Other than that, I'm done.
Can I just mention something real quick?
Yes.
Oh shit. There's a online you can join. It's an I.O group. I believe. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, what?
I didn't hear what you said. What?
I can send you the information, but
Okay.
it's obituary lookup group.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have the full name, an approximate date of birth, date of death, and any information that you need. But they're very, they just want the details. They don't want a story, or anything like that. I believe I may have discovered my birth father, but I couldn't find any obituary anywhere. It was on all the paid subscription sites.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across another site and I couldn't get into it. So I joined this group and found that they do obituary lookups that way.
Okay.
Could you share that group with this whole group? Because I would love to have that information.
I can. I'll look it up while we're online and I'll put it in the email.
Thank you.
I mean, in the chat.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we have gone through everybody, and our next meeting is scheduled for May 8th. And maybe by summer we can get back to meeting in person.
Yeah.
Which would be nice.
Of course, I can't find it right this minute. What I'll do is
send it to me and I'll send an email out to everybody.
okay. All right. Yeah,
How's
I
that
can do
sound?
that. Yeah. Okay. Not a problem. I will be glad to do that.
Great.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you all next month.
Jerry, can you stay on? Jerry, what was the funny story that you told?
Bye, everyone.
Just give me the.
Which story was that?
I don't know, but it made me laugh so hard. And then Tom told a story about his dad. Did it have something to do with somebody getting old? Anybody remember?
It was probably me. I'm getting old.
Oh, you don't remember what you said? 'Cause it was so funny. Okay.
No, I can't think of anything.
All right. Maybe next time. Thanks.
Okay, everybody, have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Good luck
with your second shot.
Be in touch with you later. Bye.
Bye.